Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by my counterpart on the East Coast, Nate Weitzer. Nice solid slate tonight on Monday night. Another great article on playpicks.com from Nate with some best bets and DFS for you guys. As always, make sure you are liked and subscribed to the page and jump in those comments. We have a gift card to give away from Friday, Nate. So we'll get that out to Aaron Garza, who guessed Joel Embiid's total points, rebounds, and assists correct at 51. So we'll get that out to Aaron and have another gift card available for you guys this week. And as always, if you do need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com. Find all those local listings in your area, such as this slate for tonight. Nate, let's jump into it.
Yeah, get right into it. We got the Cavs -2.5 at Pistons right now. Bulls +6 at a shorthanded Celtics team, potentially without Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker, and Robert Williams tonight. Warriors are +9 at Sixers. Big injury news to watch there. Steph is questionable. And the way he's been playing, that's obviously huge. Spurs -1 at Pacers. The Rockets are up to +8 at the Heat. The Thunder are down to +12 at the Wizards. Suns right now +2.5 at Bucks. Grizzlies +7.5 at the Nuggets. And the Jazz are -7 at Lakers, expected to return Rudy Gobert and Mike Conley tonight, but Donovan Mitchell still out. So given all the uncertainty with injuries on this Patriots day, Josh, what are you looking at in terms of placing your hard-earned money?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with a game that it looks like there's lineups worth of people that are going to be out potentially. You got Golden State in Philly for the Warriors. You've got Steph questionable when he tweaked that ankle the other night at the end of the game. Then you've got Juan Toscano-Anderson also questionable after he flew over a table saving a ball. Kelly Oubre and Eric Pascal are still questionable. James Wiseman out. And then for the Sixers, Seth Curry questionable, Tobias Harris, all those guys we talked about, Dwight Howard, George Hill. We don't know exactly who's going to play, but we do know that Joel Embiid is going to play. And that makes me feel a little bit good about this game. At least it started at about 7.5 points or so favorite for Philly. That's all the way up to about 9.5. Conversely, the total has been dropping as people are wondering if Steph's going to play. That started almost at 230. It's down to about 225 now in a lot of places. So it's something to keep a watch on the whole way up until the game. Obviously, I think, the spread rising a bit. You see 76ers at home and you see Steph questionable with a ton of Warriors out. And I just think you're not as worried about who's playing for the Sixers if you've got Embiid and Simmons in the lineup. Right now in April, they're the best team in the league on defense, as they've been pretty much that all season, allowing only about 103 points a game. They've also been forcing a ton of turnovers. They do that at a clip of about 17 forced turnovers a game, best in the league, which they also turn into a league best 21 points off of turnovers. That's been over the last 6 weeks or so. And then you got Golden State turning the ball over about 15 to 16 turnovers a game. That's why they lost to Boston, was about 18 turnovers in that game, just threw the game away, honestly, over there. And I don't even know if they'll be able to stay as close to Philly tonight. So I am going to continue to monitor that, see if I can find some Joel Embiid player prop doubles, maybe find his points or double with a win for the Philly there, so I don't have to worry about the spread too much. But if I can't get anything there up until game time, I'm also looking at potentially just teasing that game down a bit closer to about 5 or 6 points, which I'll feel a lot more comfortable with, regardless of if Steph plays or not. And then just kind of go from there, because if he doesn't play, I'm happy with a double-digit spread either way, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the way Steph's been playing, that is completely critical for the Warriors. I like the idea of getting some value early with betting the Sixers, because you'll see that spread go to double digits pretty quickly if he's out. It's just such an anomaly the way he's been throwing up the ball and it goes in lately. He also hasn't played the Sixers since 2019, was averaging 34.5 points per game in those two meetings back then. We'll see if Ben Simmons can live up to his reputation as the self-proclaimed Defensive Player of the Year and keep him in check if he does play. But yeah, that's definitely a wait-and-see game for me. Something I'm looking at early, which I guess a lot of people are betting, is attacking the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are completely shamelessly tanking. I've lost 10 straight with the worst net rating by a wide margin in that span. The question for me is, can they score enough against the Wizards team that's stunningly, I mean, you know their offense is ramping back up with Brad Beal back the last 4 games. They're stunningly number 1 in defensive rating in those 4 games. They've gone 4-0. but they're still playing at the second fastest pace in the league. So they're giving up about 112 points per game. We know games average about 237 at Capital One Arena in Washington. So I don't know if I'm trusting OKC, despite the fact that Luguentz Dort has suddenly become a number one option, getting 28 points per game over his last four. But I am trusting the Wizards to score a ton. And just combing through the recent results, I saw the Thunder are 9-4 against the over on back-to-backs this year. I didn't realize how ridiculous it's gotten since they started tanking. They've given up 147, 133, and even 129 to the Cavs on their last three back-to-backs. So that's 136 points per game. They're allowing 124 points per game in general during this 10-game losing streak. And this is Russell Westbrook's revenge game, of course. He had two meetings with OKC when he was with Houston last year. He posted a 38% usage rate, got a triple-double in the second meeting there. So I would, rather than looking at the spread, again, attack those doubles on FanDuel. You get a triple-double Westbrook and a win. That's minus 108. He's done that in 7 of his last 8 games. You get 13-plus rebounds against a Thunder team that's 29th in rebounding. That's plus 112, and I think Westbrook probably gets you to both of those. He astonishingly has 14 boards in 8 of his last 9 games, so feel pretty good about that one.
Yeah, I mean, Lou Dort's been really great since he's been back, putting people in the torture chamber as well on defense. But I don't know if he's got what it takes today to handle all of the firepower of Washington. I fully agree with you there. Just finding OKC right now and just picking them apart is the way that a lot of gamblers are making some money towards the end of the season. Another game, Nate, that I think is going to be a really good game. 2 powerhouses, 2 of the best teams in the league. We've got Milwaukee and Phoenix. Both of these teams are both top 10 in offensive rating and defensive rating. Tonight, one thing I am going to be looking for, the only player that's out that might make a difference is Dante DiVincenzo for the Bucks. Really what that means is that Bryn Forbes is playing a lot more. And when Bryn Forbes plays over Dante DiVincenzo this year, their defense is about 4 points worse per 100 possessions. So a lot of the stuff I'm looking at, Nate, starting with that as sort of my baseline is, what's the over going to be here? It's at 234. We know Phoenix has been scoring a lot of points lately. We also, something to understand is their defensive rating has gone down slightly in the month of April. They've had defensive ratings of worse than 114 in the last couple of weeks against some pretty bad offenses, honestly, in the Rockets, the Spurs, and even the Kings, who have dropped dramatically on offense as well. Still, able to score a ton of points on Phoenix. And then Phoenix has been scoring the ball as well. Despite giving up more points, they're also now, 9th in 3-point percentage in the league. They shoot a ton of threes from the corner, where Milwaukee actually is weak. They've given up about the 6th highest field goal percentage from 3-point corner shots. That's where, guys like Jay Crowder, we know, loves to shoot that 3 ball. So I think you can see Phoenix being able to honestly stay with Giannis and company. The other reason I like offense in this game, it's basically what one team doesn't do well. Milwaukee scores a lot of points in the paint with Giannis. They've got the 6th best field goal percentage in the paint. Phoenix gives up about the 10th worst field goal percentage in the paint. DeAndre Ayton's not much of a force down there, to be honest with you, on defense yet. So I think you'll be able to see both these teams score. And I know, Phoenix's pace is something to worry about. I mean, in their last meeting, there were only 95 possessions in this game. There were still 49 points scored. It was 125, 124, and a really, thrilling game, actually. There was 8 ties in that game, 11 different lead changes. So I think you're going to see another close game. I think you're going to see points because of how efficient both of these teams are on offense and what they do well on offense versus what their opponent does not do well on defense. If you do, think this game's going to stay close, I might tease this game up a bit, get Phoenix at about 7.5 points, maybe add that to the Philly game, get Philly down to about 5.5, 6 points. And feel really comfortable with both those spreads.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a close game. I would be looking at the Suns for that reason, because they have one of the best win percentages in close games. Milwaukee's middle of the pack. Milwaukee is still around 500 against winning teams, and the Suns have just been on a roll since the All-Star break. Pretty much the most efficient team on both ends in that span. And I mean, I don't think it's really a huge statement to say Dante DiVincenzo is the 4th most important player on the Bucks. Without him, I mean, on both ends, he's just very underrated in terms of his movement off the ball, and obviously a much, much better defender than Bryn Forbes. So I have no problem attacking the Bucks there, either teasing the Suns up or getting them on the money line if you're getting plus money, because that game's a total toss-up. Giannis is still, he seemed a little bit bothered by a knee issue, and unless he's transcendent, the Suns are just a more complete team right now.
Yep.
Another bad team that I'm looking to attack is the Detroit Pistons. Also making a move for lottery ping pong balls right now. They will be resting Mason Plumlee. Jeremy Grant remains out. Their defensive rating is all the way up to 116.7 without Grant. They are dead last in offensive efficiency over their last week. And the key matchup with the Cavs here is that Detroit's given up a league high 63% of points on 2-point field goals, which the Cavs lead the league in that percentage. They score the most percentage of points on 2-pointers, especially on the road. So Colin Sexton attacking the rim. Jared Allen's back. Kevin Love is playing well. Even with Nance Jr. out, they have guys to fill in there. They have thrived in this meeting, 4 straight wins over the Pistons. And the Pistons are actually 0-9 against the division this year, 3-12 against the spread, dating back to last year when playing division teams. The last 9 meetings between these teams have gone over, and you're just sitting at 213 right now. I'm intrigued by that. Anytime you can get such a low total. But I think more importantly, I'm taking a Cavs win and would potentially be looking at some Colin Sexton props to get some juice there. He just posted a 36% usage rate on Saturday against Chicago, and he's averaging 28 points per game on 62% shooting in his last 3 against Detroit. So he should help lift them to a win.
Yeah, and you're seeing stability enter the Cavs team at this point, right? With their players coming back now. You've got Jared Allen on the floor, you got Kevin Love back, et cetera. So, I'm looking for a little bit of value there. Continue to hunt for the Thunder and the Pistons is what we're getting at right now. A quick hit for you, Nate. I'm looking at that Utah Lakers game. Looking at the over there, the Lakers, obviously we know what they're how good they are on defense, but they've also upped the pace a ton since they've lost LeBron and AD, 13th in pace since the All-Star game. They are, as we said, really good on defense, but they're allowing their opponents to shoot threes a ton, allowing 42% of their opponents' points to come off of threes in their last 3 games. The over has hit in 7 of the last Lakers games as well. And obviously we know Utah shoots a ton of threes, making almost half their points off of threes in their last 3 games. They're still averaging a ton of points despite Donovan going down with that ankle, about 116 in the last 4 without him. And they are allowing 114 since the All-Star break. Pretty much just if you bet the over in Utah in most of their recent games, you're going to hit it. So I think that's a nice quick hit for tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you bet the Jazz against the 220 total, which is more than we're getting tonight, and you go all the way back against playoff teams, 21 of their last 23 games would have hit 220. So you're looking at a competitive game against the Lakers team that knows they can't just sit back and pack it in against the Jazz team like this that just shoots so well. Yeah. We saw that in the most recent meeting. It hit 242, I believe. And yes, Rudy Gobert's back, but he's not worth negative 28 points to make the total 214. I think you'll see this rise as the day continues because the Jazz are just a reliable offense, and the Lakers have opened things up. Looking at DFS plays tonight, I, of course, like Russell Westbrook if you can afford him. I think you can go cheap on the Thunder side with Dort, maybe Darius Baisley, definitely our guy Poku, who is back, got nice 40 FanDuel points in his return. Yep. Your boy Kelly Olynyk getting a revenge factor tonight against Miami. He's just getting all the shots he wants for the horrible Rockets. For some more value on the Pistons, Isaiah Stewart is going to step into a role looking for a 3rd straight double-double. He's been great. Josh Jackson maybe in tournaments. And the Jazz without Mitchell, Jordan Clarkson, Bojan Bogdanovic are really going to step up. And I trust both of those guys implicitly. Also got to look at Jason Tatum if, in fact, Jaylen Brown and Kemba sit. He's going to be seeing a usage rate well over 30% there.
Yeah, I think I'm down to pay for him, and I'm definitely down to pay for Luguentz Dort, only offensive option on the Thunder playing that Washington team, who you did say is much better on offense. Super surprising. That might be the surprise stat of the show is the Wizards playing defense recently. Either way, we're going to have a good time with a pretty nice, juicy slate tonight, Nate. As always, make sure you are liked and subscribed to the page and jump in those comments. Let us know who you guys are betting on tonight. We'll have a gift card prop here for you coming up this week very soon, and back with another show tomorrow. As for tonight, happy betting.